Welcome back to the best of 5 between TSM and 100 Thieves to see who gets to move forward and compete next week in the penultimate match against Team Liquid for a shot at the title of mid-season Showdown champions and a trip to MSI. But first, they got to get the win here. TSM is up 2-0 over 100 Thieves, and despite the fact that the Thieves fought back in both games, it's TSM that is showing they are the better team thus far. So 100 Thieves going to have to show us something new here, I think, Azael.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And I think people are going to be on both sides of that argument. Do you doubt your prep when it's like, oh, that last game was so close. If we just hadn't messed up at the end, maybe we win that. You know, back-to-back games, they played very similar styles, right? It's been Jason and Gnar, it's been AP jungler, it's been marksman mid, and it has been Ashe bot as your primary form of engage. And 100 Thieves have had themselves in potentially winning positions in both Game 1 and Game 2. They may be saying, hey, we didn't execute, so we lost. Our draft was fine. No matter what you play, you got to execute at the end of the day. So I'm going to be curious to see if they stick with their prep or if they really do mix it up and go for something a little bit more traditional, a control mage mid, try to do that sort of a route, because that's tough too, right? If you just put Ryoma and say, all right, we're going to do Orianna versus Azir, well, that's where Power of Evil is really thriving. And I think 100 Thieves came into this series saying, all right, Power of Evil doesn't really play marksman. That's going to be our niche. We're going to attack it from a different angle. And I think that's intelligent, but you've got to still perform. And in these key moments in both these games, in the third dragon in Game 1, in that final fight, as well as the overforce on the Baron that led to the steal in Game 2, they just didn't execute. TSM played it better. They had those big plays that really grasped them at the end of the game.
All right, let's see how the draft shakes out. 100 Thieves back on blue side here with Tristana, Rel, and Seraphine all banned away. So 100 Thieves are at least wanting to change up that mid lane pick, and they do not want to give it over to TSM, so the Triss gets banned out. Senna, Hecarim, and what is our last ban for the side of TSM?
Probably Udyr again.
Renekton.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So Udyr and Olaf are both up, as well as a double AP. We've gotten Lily and Nidalee every time, so I'm going to be interested to see if there's any divergence from that. Given that Udyr's up, I would really expect it gets picked.
Okay.
This does mean
there you go.
that there is the potential to just see a kind of similar thing for TSM where they just blind Gnar again. I think that's working. TSM has been really comfortable with Huni playing weak side. I honestly think he played great the last 2 games on the weak side. And now it's like, all right, if he just slaps down the Gnar again, is Someday really willing to go 3 straight games of Jace where it hasn't really worked out? It hasn't really been able to extend that advantage, because if he just goes to the Jace, we could just see, Spica again on the Nidalee, very similar things coming through here for TSM potentially.
Well, let's see. They don't know what's going to happen here just yet. Whether or not they want to pick that Nidalee this early, we will see. Or we could just have Lost back on the Hyper Carry and the Jinx, and yes, that is what they're going for here.
The Jinx was great for them in game number 1. Worked very, very well. Kai'Sa is available. I would like to see FBI on a true hyper carry, right? That has been his bread and butter. Kai'Sa all year long. When you actually look at the games played for this guy, he has 15 Kai'Sa games previous to today's series and 3 games of the next most played champion. That is where he dominates.
Quite a difference.
He has over 70% win rate on this champion, so I am surprised to not see them want to grab it up, to be going double Ashe. They may mix it up, of course. It could get banned out here in the second round, so we'll have to wait and see if it is still available, but Nidalee looking like the choice. And it is a departure from the marksman mid, so they're not slamming down a Lucian mid like in game 1. They are going a bit of a more traditional route. They're keeping the Jace into the Gnar. They're saying, all right, this is a winning lane. That was working, but we can't just be all eggs in the early game basket. It's control mage mid. It's more of a standard tank jungler. You have one pushing winning lane, but then you could maybe draft pretty standard around that.
Let's see how they want to approach this second part of the bans here. Kalista will be taken off the table, so still could be a double AD carry angle and ban out the Kai'Sa too, or maybe they're comfortable leaving that up against FBI despite the fact that it is so often played, just because of the fact that 100 Thieves haven't shown it yet here today. Thresh will be banned out, so Sword Art will not have that one available here in his pool. None of the champions over on TSM have any sort of flexibility between the lanes at all, so they automatically know, okay, they still have to pick their support, they still have to to pick their mid laner. TSM will have the very last pick in the draft too on red side, so they could just save that for Power of Evil to see the entire composition, even though he already knows who his lane opponent is. Kai'Sa will be banned away, so 100 Thieves cannot have that one for FBI. So with Kai'Sa banned out, what would you rather see here? Because Jinx has been picked, Kai'Sa's been banned away. You've already expressed not wanting to see something like the Ashe here again. What are we looking for?
I would prefer seeing something like the Xayah, honestly.
Okay.
Something that I feel like has more agency in the fight. So Ashe can put out damage. Ashe can be a valuable champion, but when you think of FBI, you think of this guy having incredible outplays in team fights, taking over in 5v5, and generally to do that, you need to have some sort of mobility. You need to have some sort of ability to actually, outplay things and play on your own to be able to win these skirmishes. Ashe just isn't that, right? Like, you have your ulti, you kite back and forth, that's about it. Whereas, something with a little bit more ability can get things more done. Ezreal would fit into kind of what they want to do a little bit maybe with the poke here from Jace. Of course, it isn't that sort of like hard carry style that I'm talking about, the hyperscalers, but Ezreal is gaining a lot of priority, especially in some of the other leagues, seeing it a lot in the LCK, seeing it a lot, even some in the LPL. So this is a champion that can take over a game. It is in a different way, but he's going to have the ability to have some agency on this champion, to be able to outplay things, to be able to land all the skill shots and take over a team fight. And I think that is exciting for FBI and for 100 Thieves fans. This is the guy that people are looking at as potentially the best marksman in the league. He was even up there in the MVP voting. We saw that released, the top 4, top 5, I believe. He was still alive in the MVP voting. So it's going to be really exciting to see if he can get anything done here. And against the Alistar, you have the ability to consistently outplay that. You can actually buffer your shift to outplay the combo coming through there from Sword Art. So that's the most consistent form of engage. And FBI has the ability to avoid that. So we'll have to see if he's going to be able to do so. Both teams looking more like they're drafting for the 5v5. I think it's pretty even across the board. You have control mages in the mid lane. You're concerned probably that Power of Evil is on the Azir, which he has just been an absolute monster on. But you have some powerful team fight marksman. You've engaged from the support, control mages mid. You're looking at Jace's more early game, but Nidalee on the other side is also more early game. That's kind of balanced out by the Nara and the Udyr. And I think overall, very even stuff.
And I just really like the fact that it feels like 100 Thieves has a lot more choices for starting off fights just due to the nature of drafting Leona this time. I'm generally pretty critical of drafts that sorely lack engage mechanisms. And so in the last game, when 100 Thieves really only had that Ashe arrow to rely on, it felt pretty rough. It's like 100 Thieves has to wait for TSM to make the first move, but it feels like both teams have the ability to decide, all right, we're fighting here in game 3.
I agree. And I think that if Someday can create an advantage, it doesn't have to be monstrous now, because they don't have to just necessarily win the game through side lanes completely. He can create an advantage that is just a boon to them in the 5v5. Like, they can take 5v5s and play it pretty standard from there. And we have seen Someday, doing a good job in both game 1 and game 2, in those skirmishes, in those fights. In game 2, he was a difference maker in a lot of the fights that actually kind of dragged them back into the game. So we'll see if they're able to do that. Looks like it's going to be largely line of scrimmage play here as both teams run out of base and fan out across the map.
Alrighty, Power of Evil on the Azir, lost on the Jinx. The scaling power of those two champions is just astronomical. But 100 Thieves has shown that they can get early advantages. They just have not been able to keep them going long enough to stop TSM from taking over the game in that team fight phase. With better team fight tools here in this game, maybe it's the answer 100 Thieves needs, but they won't have any more chances to experiment and try to find those answers if they can't win it here. TSM already leading 2-0, this already being the lower bracket. You lose here, they're going home.
Yep, final chance, and they are making those pivots towards more of the 5v5. Starting to say, all right, well, it's game point, match point here. We already lost 2, we got to mix it up. So they are trying something a little bit different. We'll see if it does pan out for them. Going to be interesting to see how effective Closer is on this Udyr. It's a champion that can definitely facilitate dives, and if Ryoma can get pressure here mid, which will be difficult admittedly against Power of Evil, who's really in his comfort zone here, they could potentially try to set up 3-man plays, look to really attack Huni and get aggressive up on that top side.
Speaking of Huni here at the top side, one of those little minions of his was the hero of the day as Someday goes in for that level 1 Q trade, as the minion did block the shock blast from connecting and causing Someday to win the trade. So Huni actually feeling all right with the level 1 here compared to in the past couple of games at least, as Huhi just walks up, instantly grabs a stun down onto Lost, and especially considering Lost is playing a Jinx which has no form of invisibility, no form of dash, no form of built-in escape. Yeah, eventually she might be able to get a Gale Force and use that, but Huhi has a lot of opportunity to engage on this champion, so Lost's positioning has to be good.
Absolutely, and Sorta has to be on point with rejecting a lot of those engages. It's a really nice trade there from Someday. Huni trying to stay up, make sure he's in XP range, but if you back off slowly as Jace hits level 2, he will destroy you on those trades, though. Huni, the early levels going better, though, I would say, than the last couple games where he took some pretty poor trades and Someday was able to really create advantages. You know, Huni just wants to be stable in this lane, wants to be able to pick up farm, play it slow. If he can avoid a catastrophic TP like the last time, which was forced out because of the really good early jungle pathing from Closer, he's going to be setting himself up for a lot more success.
Okay, Someday will just continue pushing everything up here, taking a look at where the junglers are. Spica, very fortunately for TSM, is not having the same kind of a start he had in game number 2. He's staying ahead of the Udyr in farm here. He's clearing through his entire jungle there very, very swiftly. Udyr, the first one into the top side Scuttle Crab area as Huhi goes for a play on Power of Evil here, forces him back, doesn't get any summoner spells out or anything like that, not a ton of damage, but at least having some presence here early on. Nice spear over the wall will poke Closer, but he's Udyr, he's not too worried about it. It's not like his jungle is very dangerous at any point, so he'll just keep on farming, and it looks like Closer's gonna grab both Scuttle Crabs here at the start as Spica invades the enemy jungle, only to find everything already farmed up. Someday and Huni both trading back and forth here with the top side with a spear flying out. And Spica can't get anything with that one. Someday's running all the way back. Turns around to try to stand and fight against Spica, but he's down to 200 HP. And first blood over to TSM.
And Huni is even the one that actually gets it, throwing in the Q to collect it. Spica just smart pathing, realizing he can't get down towards that bottom scuttle. That is going to be gone. Leona was roaming. Udyr was already there. So he goes straight up towards top side where Huni, because of those early trades going much more in his favor, had the push. He's able to not only prevent the recall, but get the kill onto Someday. And Huni now being ahead in this matchup, we could maybe see him really shine here as he has had to play it from such a deficit in the early stages. He's been getting counterpicked 3 games in a row and now gets first blood, has the CS lead on the base. So he has a real buy for once compared to his opponent.
He comes back, he's got the plated steel caps ready to go, and Someday wasn't able to go back and purchase the same sort of power, right? When you look back at the first game, the first time they both went in shop, never mind, we don't have time to talk about the first game, because here in the third game, it's 100 Thieves looking to make a play, but the Chompers will lock Closer down and get Sword Art and Lost away safely. No summoner spells had to be used.
Yeah, no summoner is used, but the wave is ruined. The wave is really bad. Down on that bottom side, it is actually slow pushing away from TSM, which is really terrible when you have to actually base on that, because that means that all your minions are going to be killing off their minions. And that's why FBI is actually basing instead of pushing this in. 100 Thieves, though, looking to pressure here mid. They're going for the dive.
Oh, baby, Power of Evil just melts. The 3-man play underneath the mid lane tier 1 turret to keep this game tied up.
Man, Huhi is really making it happen. 400 Thieves, the early roam, pushing Power of Evil back, then facilitating the double scuttle, makes the play on bot side, pushes them back there, immediate roam to mid, sets up the dive on the Power of Evil, lock him up for the follow-up CC there from Closer. Full combo can land from Ryoma. Things looking pretty good in these early stages. 400 Thieves from that bottom lane.
Huni's Gnar Q did more damage than Someday's accelerated Shock Blast, respectively. So that feels really good here for TSM in the top side. Gold very close here between the teams. And honestly, you're talking about Huhi making it happen. So much of that is just being on a champion that gets to decide what it wants to do instead of being on a champion that only plays reactively for most of the time, like the Braum. I like seeing Huhi on a pick like this Leona so much more because it really unlocks him to roam around the map and play this kind of stuff.
Look at 100 Thieves, though. 3 men coming top. If they commit to this fight, TSM could be in trouble.
To flash away. Closer's trying to close the distance here. Ryoma's ready to go with the Shockwave. Closer's running in. Ball still attached. Shockwave finds Spica. See you later. 100 Thieves with their second kill of the game.
Nicely done. Really good roam there from Ryoma, from Closer. TSM was the first ones to make the play, but no flash available there for Spica. The Shockwave was in for Ryoma. and they had the tier 2 boots. Udyr catches up. Huni does have flash, and there's no flash on Someday, but you don't want to overchase here with Ryoma around. This is an overcommitment.
You might not want to overchase here with Ryoma around, but Huni thinks very differently, my friend. Now he's going to try to get away, get over the wall, maybe with a wall up coming in. Power of Evil! He shows up and he saves Huni's life, but will he be able to get him all the way out? No. Power of Evil now finds himself in the 1v2 and has to flash back out over the wall.
All right, it was almost super sick, but still, I mean,
close. You're
you're flexing on him. I can understand it. Huni has been under his tower for like 2 games straight, just wants to play the damn game, sees his opportunity, he's going to go for it. Here it is one more time. Flashed from Someday on the pounce there. That would have been the X2 from Spica. And then Closer, he just needs to run in the ball. Run, stun, job done. Ryoma follow-up Shockwave. They kill off the jungler. And then it's an overchase. But like I said, man, sometimes you're just having one of those games where you're like, no, I may die, but I'm taking you with me.
He's so sick of playing this Jace matchup, having to sit underneath that turret, and damn it, he is going to play some League of Legends today when he finally gets the chance.
Who's weak side now someday? Huni takes him down. They get the flashes traded by the mid laners, so it's not bad. It is the 1-for-1, but you give up your shutdown, so it's probably not really worth it. But
it also costs
mental edge. It's the mental advantage, 100%. So, you know, that's one of those intangibles. Doesn't show on the scoreboard, you know?
Oh, man. All right, so Huni has refreshed himself. He is invigorated. He is ready to go as the Rift Herald is now the target for TSM. They'll move in. They've got plenty of bodies up here looking to take this one down, but 100 Thieves is walking up to contest. Closer's here, but the secure is good for Spica, who can jump back over the wall. Huni's not there on the other side to yeet him back in there with a blast cone this time, so he can get away safely.
100 Thieves late on the play. You make the rotation. You don't even get a fight. You don't get to contest. Just got to leave someone bot lane. Just leave FBI pushing in, leave Ryoma pushing, and get the slight advantages that are guaranteed. Instead, they move up for the commit. It is TSM that win out there. They're going to be able to grab this Rift Herald. They're pushing in top. Huni's going to need to get down towards bot lane fairly quickly, or you're going to start losing that wave. So we'll see who's actually going to recall. It looks like it is going to be the bot lane returning down towards the bot side, but TSM pretty late on these recalls and now calling it off. So they want to potentially go for a dive here. There are some 100 Thieves members behind him, and there is going to be that risk of just losing the minions and the experience on bot side for nothing.
Okay, TSM continuing to try to invest in this, trying to push up. Remember that Spica
Herald
has the Rift Herald, so if they do make a big play, if they're able to commit up here, they could take the entire turret with that. And that seems to be the plan. Everyone's just walking up. Huni with the full rage bar will be able to zone them all away. The first 2 plates have been eliminated, and that means Spica can now summon up the Herald, look to take down most of what's remaining here on this turret. Rift Herald charge does a little bit more than 2 plates worth of damage. And so they just might have it ready to go. Nope, just a couple more hits will take it out. And TSM will get first turret here 10 minutes in.
They get first turret, but honestly, it's okay. It's not that great, though, when you consider that FBI did actually get probably 2 to 3 waves in the advantage of his favor, plus he got the 2 plates, and all that is solo golden experience, right? So he's actually almost level 8. You could see his experience bar as he was highlighted at the very end. Lost is still level 6. So Lost is 1+ level behind. I'm not sure how much experience in Lost is, but as a result, FBI is going to be pretty rich, and we'll see if they can actually pick up a tower of their own to even it out. For now, it is TSM positive, but the gold is more spread across, and you can see the XP advantages there. As Lost is just shy of halfway towards level 7, and we almost have level 8 for FBI. So that's a significant edge that isn't shown in the gold lead. Every level is worth a lot of gold because you get the bonus of the additional health, mana, armor, etc. AD. So there's a lot in there that you have to really consider.
I think I haven't looked at the numbers for a while, so I might be wrong. It's somewhere around like 300 or 400 gold.
It's a couple hundred
stats every time you level up, just in the ragtag band of little number increases that you get every time you level. So hey, a nice little extra lead there for FBI. He is on a pick like the Ezreal that he has more agency on, as you were talking about back in the draft. So we'll see if this is the kind of pop-off game where he can perform and carry 100 Thieves forward, looking to keep this series alive as they're down 0-2. TSM will continue applying pressure here in the top side, allowing Huni to play with this lead, allowing him to keep shoving up here towards the tier 2 turret. Spica steals away the Gromp at the same time, and now they can both exit safely together.
Yep, and CFBI, as a result of all that additional gold, he's already got the Essence Reaver. He's charging up the tier, so he is going to be going for that Muramana plus Essence Reaver build. When you do cash in on that, it is very powerful. Of course, you pretty much never run out of mana. So maybe overcommitting on this, but Closer is moving up there too, so losing out on the trade doesn't really have itemization to win the 1v1, but at the very least will push Huni back. But his FBI does actually complete that Muramana, which he will be working towards second. He's going to get really, really strong. Then you actually get your Mythic item third. You delay that quite a lot. And generally, it is just the Duskblade from there. More CDR, Mythic passive with the haste. And you can get those cooldowns down to comically low levels.
Game's still very close here, 12.5 minutes in. It is one Drake over to the side of 100 Thieves, but remember that TSM taking the Rift Herald is what got them the opportunity to seize that first turret. So they're still up about 1,000 gold, still super close here. 3 minutes until the next Drake spawns. Rift Herald not on the map right now either. The closest thing to a neutral objective is that Scuttle Crab that's about to spawn in the topside river. Somedays just trying to zone Huni away from here as much as he can, trying to maintain control over this lane, because being a wave down as a Jace does not bode well for moving forward in this game.
It really doesn't, man. You know, Jace from ahead, you're feeling good, you're flexing on people, you got the bazooka on your shoulder. Jace from behind, you got one of those little super soakers you get at the dollar store. It doesn't even really spray out the water that well.
The ones that break?
Yeah, the ones that break.
Like twice? Yeah. Okay,
you get like 3 squirts and you're done. That's what he's got.
That's the worst. That's the worst. Some days got to try to upgrade that to the big, like, $60 super soaker that comes with a bonus backpack or
the
something.
one that's like borderline illegal, you know?
Yeah. The one that's probably illegal in a couple states. Like
that's the one you want.
the one that shoots like a fire hose. That's what we need.
If it has a direct attachment to a fire hydrant, that's a super soaker for me.
Well, that's the kind of super soaker that 100 Thieves needs if they want to win this game, because that Jace is going to need to show up. Down here in the bottom lane, let's check in with Lost, who is level 8 now, so still about 1 level behind FBI's Ezreal, and the farm is also still hurting him a little bit here. He missed out on quite a few waves during that Rift Herald play there in the top lane. Leandri's Anguish now coming online for Power of Evil's Azir back at mid. He's still 0-1-0 on this pick. The farm between him and Ryoma pretty much identical, as Closer will pass off that next blue buff over to Ryoma himself. Ryoma does not have his mythic item completed, so that is one power advantage here for Power of Evil.
You're going to be looking pretty good in that regard. Of course, 2-2 boots over on Ryoma's side. He's feeling pretty comfortable, but we all know how dangerous Power of Evil is on the Azir. Almost doesn't matter how the early game goes, as long as he's getting farmed, this guy will have an impact on this champion. It really has become his signature champion. People are banning it out left and right against him because he is just running over 5v5s. He'll find the key ultimate. He'll be in the right position to get that damage down, and that's what they've got to watch out for. But on the side of 100 Thieves, they have some playmaking. You know, you called out the Leona. If you can actually lock down Power of Evil, maybe you can burst him out before he can get anything done. Nice little slide over the wall there to escape, though.
Yup, easy escape for Power of Evil, dodging away from the playmaking attempt of 100 Thieves. We got 30 seconds until that Drake's coming up here, and you can see total gold on the left side of the screen. FBI remains the richest man on the Rift, but Spica, Huni, and Ryoma are all just a couple hundred gold behind him. Lost is following up there, about 300 gold behind that, and then it just gets lower from there. But pretty close game state still here. Spica's taking down the Rift Herald on the top side of the map. TSM might just say, all right, if they go for the Drake, let him have the Drake. It's only number 2. TSM has fought from this position in regards to Drakes in both the previous games and done just fine from it. Closer now walking up towards that Rift Herald pit. No Spica's up to something. The Rift Herald's been drawn all the way away up into the Tri-Brush, but now she finally goes home.
Yeah, I think honestly, TSM are probably fine to just give this one up. They are up in the gold lead. They can pressure the map through side lanes. Ezreal is really strong right now without Lost even having a mythic item completed. If he goes back and completes, maybe they would want to contest, but I think it's too little too late at this point, so they just kind of made the call. If you look at the items, Jinx didn't really have anything going on. FBI was already out there with his Essence Reaver, plus some items on top, so they will just give it up. They will push out the waves, they will reset. Mythic item now coming through here for Lost, so they can prepare and look forward towards these later fights, where you really want to be on the 2-3 item mark for Jinx, where you really start getting strong, and that's kind of the same thing there for Azir. So TSM happy to delay that big 5v5 if they can.
Yep, TSM just taking their foot off the pedal, going forward at whatever pace they might find themselves. There's no rush when you've got Jinx and Azir on the same team here. Huni also continuing to scale up here on the Gnar with that Stride Breaker completed. Big playmaking potential with that item to slow him down and make sure you can catch people with the ultis, as Sword Art still not having his item fully completed, but he doesn't have that either. That's just support life. And it looks like we're going to see TSM take out their second turret of the game here in the bottom side. True Shot Barrage fired off. They will not stick around long enough to finish off the last bit of HP as 100 Thieves is moving down into this bottom lane to collapse if TSM overstays.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things is they're not worried about the 3v3 so much. It's more that Ryoma and Someday were both off the map and both had TP available, right? So if you overstay and there's a ward behind you that you haven't caught and all of a sudden you're double TP'd on, then it could get bad really, really fast. So TSM going to play that safe. We'll just back it up, continue pushing in those other lanes. Their solos are still out on the map. They're looking to just continue farming, continue putting on pressure through these side lanes. And Huni is doing a really good job, honestly, of moving around the map. He pushes out his side lane. He has priority for the first time really in this series. And he's using that to constantly threaten Ryoma in mid lane to move around the map. Even took a Rift Herald for his team, and we'll be able to look for an opportunity to get that down somewhere.
Oh, Huni in some trouble here. Tries to get away. Stride Breaker out. Everfrost from Spica to buy a little bit of extra time and some extra distance. But that's Huni's flash having to be used there to stay alive.
Yeah, walking around pretty boldly there. Does get punished for it as Ryoma hadn't moved. If it's just the Udyr that you face check, you're not really that concerned, but has to early flash. If you got caught by the shockwave, maybe too little too late if you flash after that. Lost, nice little sidestep on that, and we'll be able to push in here. You can see, though, Ryoma is moving, so he's got to be a little bit careful. He has some sense of security because Sword Art is with him, but Sword Art going to have to keep him safe here.
Yep, throw down the chompers, walk away. Not a whole lot that Ryoma can do unless he wants to just full send it, flash over the chompers and try to make a big play, but that's just a little too crazy. So Lost and Sword Art both still safe down here. TSM 300 gold ahead, but considering the fact that 100 Thieves have 2 Drakes early on, the value of those Drakes, even though they are just these small ones, is more than 300 gold's worth of stats. So it's actually 100 Thieves who are in a combat lead right now.
Yeah, this is very, very even. Of course, it's going to come down to execution in these 5v5s. I give 100 Thieves much more of a fighting chance, I think, in these 5v5s than they had in perhaps some of the other games. Of course, last game, they did win out in some team fights where they had the ability to, absorb and engage, then kite back if TSM kind of fails it or you can really avoid it. TSM, though, moving over towards mid. They'll drop Herald. That is going to be gone here. No defending this as the Herald's guaranteed damage is higher than the health on that tower, so Huni able to help knock that down. TSM slightly in the gold lead, but as you say, the Dragons in the favor of 100 Thieves. And really, TSM, I think, won't start feeling the pressure of those Dragons unless 100 Thieves also gets the next one. So that's where I expect TSM to really kind of stand and fight.
Also, it's a Cloud Soul this game instead of an Infernal Soul as it was in the previous 2. So there is a difference in exactly what that soul means for these guys. Of course, Cloud Soul is the one that feels like it has the biggest different impact depending on which champion you have. Some champions really love Cloud Soul. Other ones don't get as much use out of the active with the ultimate, but everybody can still use 10% bonus boost.
Exactly, and you called it out. That's something I harp on all the time. I really think people overlook flat 10% move speed. It is highly valuable when you are considering that this is just brown boots equipped on top of everyone else. If you have move speed modifiers, if you're someone like the Udyr, for example, who's going to be building the Dead Man's Blade and Force of Nature and all these additional things that are giving you move speed, you can be getting as much or more than what tier 2 boots are worth in move speed from that 10% passive, which is very, very powerful. That being said, it is not the direct combat power, and I know a lot of people feel that it's just not as gameplay warping, right? It's like when they have Mountain Soul, you gotta worry if you can burst them down. When they have Infernal, all of a sudden they're focus empowered. When there's Ocean Soul, long fights are bad. And Cloud is just kind of like, well, they're fast.
I run quicker. But considering Udyr's main job is to run at you, running more quickly is indeed a powerful option.
Run stun. I mean, that's half the job when you're boosting it up. So
that's the whole job. What do you mean? You forgot the third line of the poem. Run, stun, job done.
Yeah, but stun is one job. Running is the other job, right? I'm giving
They're together,
divide here.
You can't have one without the other.
Run and stun is so it's just like, so he's not doing his job. He's just running or just stunning.
I don't know. Maybe I am stupid and got this wrong. There's a reason you're the Smartcast. Okay, let's forget I said anything and instead look at what TSM's doing, invading the enemy jungle. Let's see them clear out some of the wards here, place down some of their own, and Huni will continue having the pressure, taking down the tier 2 turret up here. The Drake goes over for free to 100 Thieves, though, so they are now on Soul Point.
Yeah, TSM squarely in the Ocean Soul, Mountain Soul, Infernal Soul, much better than Cloud Soul camp. I guess they're not too worried about giving over that dragon there. Don't really want to commit to the fight, so they just take down the tower. I expect that they will contest for actual Soul, But they are over by that Baron. Are they starting it up? It looks like not just yet. Looking for a pick, though.
Closer has to flash away there, otherwise he could have been in some serious danger. So the 100 Thieves jungler stays alive, moves right back in to try to clear out some of the vision being placed down in this pit. Remember, in both previous games, it was early on close to 20 minutes where TSM got their first Baron. So far, this is the first game where that hasn't happened, and 100 Thieves got to be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief that they don't have to deal with such an obnoxious mid-game state here so soon.
Absolutely, and TSM didn't have their second item power spikes before that third dragon, so maybe feeling, hey, it's not worth fighting here for this. Just now the rapid fire comes through, just now the void staff comes through, so the Azir, the Jinx, starting to get towards those really threatening stages. At 2 items, it becomes a concern. At 3 items, I always feel like it really becomes a problem when the IE, the death cap, these types of items start coming through. That's where these guys can really tear through your team. But of course, Soul could be a reality if they're not willing to test at 2 items. But across the board now, TSM does have that. Sterix has come through, Zhonya's has come through. So everyone but those supports hitting those marks. On the other side, FBI quietly has been getting stronger and stronger. The Muramana transform has come through. He is going to be really strong on that. Plus has the CDR boots and additional call fields, the Essence Reaver, so he has got all the CDR in the world.
And look at how fast Closer can run, man. Huni in some trouble with a collapse coming out from 100 Thieves. But Spica's here and ready to turn it right back around. But Spica jumps into the waiting arms of 100 Thieves. However, he has enough time with the Zhonyas to stay alive for the next moment, trying to fight his way out, but it's a 2-for-1. They lose someday, but 100 Thieves take the fight. The rest of TSM, though, they're on the other end of the map, and they're going after Baron.
I don't think they can do it. I think it's too slow. They're not going to have smite, so if you can't finish it off before he gets it, but it's actually looking like I'm wrong with the Azir in there and 3 soldiers up. This is dying quick. Can Closer get there?
Oh, it is secured by TSM. How does it manage to happen game after game after game before 25 minutes? TSM gets another Baron.
Man, that is actually really big for TSM. They do trade 1 for 2 on that bottom side. Swordar ends up giving his life, but we'll have to see how much they can get done with this Baron. Making the best from a bad situation there. They had already lost that play on the bottom side. They couldn't affect that, so you have to really evaluate the Baron play in isolation afterwards. And when you look just at the Baron play was your support for Baron, and that is worthwhile. You know, Huni is caught. There's no changing that. He has been caught out. Spica, though, able to set up here, coordinate with him to actually get onto Someday, lands the spear, but the combo is flash. They still get the takedown, though, and TSM just pings immediately onto the Baron. They get over there. The initial play, like it was going to be too slow, but they see, hey, all 5 members are down here, and once Azir got in the pit and got the soldiers set up, it was just getting shredded. Closer almost gets there in time, but Sword Art peels off, knocks him out, will have to give his life for that, but they grab the Baron, and we'll see what they can get done with this. They lost their mid lane tower in that replay, right after the Baron, I should say. So we'll see what TSM can get done with the Baron buff. Remember, it's only on 2 members, I believe. It should just be on Lost and Power of Evil. So if they want to have it buffed up in the different lanes, they have to move their Jinx to a different lane. They can't just have Huni empowering this wave.
Yeah, Huni and Spica were both dead from the fight in bottom lane. Sword Art died defending the exit of the Baron, so just having those 2 ready to use here does make the lane assignments a little bit more difficult. One good thing here for the side of TSM, though, is they will still have those Baron buffs as this potential Dragon Soul spawns here in 45 seconds. And I do expect TSM to contest this one.
Yeah, I would think so, too. I would be pretty surprised if they're just willing to give up the full soul without fighting any dragon, because that's been 3 back-to-back that they didn't even look at the dragon and try to fight it. So I expect they will do so here. They have the vision set up. They're trying to control this area, but mid lane control is also important. Spica able to dodge out here. Sword on a potential flank, but they're so split. Huni is not here. TSM needs to bail out.
Oh, 100 Thieves coming in for the collapse a little bit more. Closer's running after Lost, needs just one more hit to take him down, and he finds it. TSM lose their AD carry. Closer goes on a killing spree, and the pick happens 10 seconds away from the Drake.
Yeah, that was just really disorganized from TSM. I understand the idea, but why is Jinx on the flank with Swordar and Nidalee? Jinx has no ability to hop back over the wall to actually get himself to a safe position. So TSM now, they're committing to it. They feel that they need to stop this. They're going to try to burn it down and flip the smite. We'll see if they can even get the smite.
He's going in. Sword Art flashes over the wall to stay safe. Huni is in mini Gnar, and he has no rage to try to transform. Someday over the wall takes out Sword Art. 100 Thieves still with 5 men on the map compared to the 3 of TSM. Spica wants to go forward, try to steal this one away. He goes over the wall, but he can't find it. Spica flashes in just to die. Ryoma goes on a killing spree, and 100 Thieves get the soul.
Nicely done by 100 Thieves. TSM really bumbling the execution of that fight. They had the items, but you have to watch. I mean, it's really about what happened way before this, about Jinx dying. They try to contest in the 4v5, but there's not really going to be the follow-up. Huni isn't in Mega. Sword Art goes in, but he's going to just have to run right back out. And really, Power People is just trying to create a zone of control so the Spica could find a way in. But as they're running towards him, he knows, all right, I got to get around and try to jump in the pit through the back. But he didn't. Did he even have Smite? It looked like it was actually on cooldown, so I'm not sure if that replay was incorrect on the cooldown timing there, or if he just didn't even have it available. But either way, Closer gets the Smite, and now 100 Thieves, 4 straight dragons, gold is even. The move speed, I think, is very powerful for this team, who is pretty reliant on that engage. You know, Leona, the ability to fly in, Jace wanting to play in the side lanes, the 10% move speed going to be really nice there, as well as the transform. And Udyr, of course, thrives off of all this move speed.
Yeah, just look at him running around so quickly. With the dead man's already done. He has the Turbo Chem Tank, and he has 2 out of 3 of the pieces here for the Force of Nature. So that third big item will be coming online here very soon. But man, is this such a close game in terms of the actual gold. Like, if, not including the dragons, of course, and the unstated value of those. But 47.9 to 47.6 thousand gold. It is a gold lead here for the side of 100 Thieves.
Oh my
Power of Evil
God.
gets away over the wall, but Ryoma's coming in, looking to maybe stop him. Power of Evil with a flash. Throws out the soldiers, stops 100 Thieves from being able to run in, but you cannot stop Udyr from running and gunning. Power of Evil is down, but Ryoma has fallen as well. Lost tries to kite it out and put the damage in. He finally falls over. Double kill back over to the Jinx, but 2 of the carries are dead from TSM. Their support now as well. It is a 3 for 2 in the favor of 100 Thieves.
Udyr just broke the sound barrier, I'm pretty sure there, Flowers. He's warping at friggin' light speed down towards that bottom lane, chasing Power of Evil past all obstacles. That is a bear on a mission there. Look at him go. And when he popped the chem tank and he ran through the Cloud Rift and he had the ultimate move speed there as well, there's no outrunning this.
Huni flashing away from him doesn't really work. He stays on top of you pretty effectively. Jumping over the wall now. Okay, all right, he does get away. Closer doesn't know where the backup might be. He doesn't want to overcommit to this one, but let's take another look at this fight, because here goes Closer at about 4,000 miles per hour.
Look at his little feet. He's running. He's running. There's no getting out of there, Power of Evil. Closer is coming for you.
Oh my goodness, he threw out the wall, he used the flash, he used everything, and it wasn't enough. TSM tried to get as much back as they could, man, but that is one tanky tiger, turtle, bear, bird man.
That's true. Couldn't have said it better myself. Lost, grabbing a couple kills for the team. He fought that out well on the backside. Of course, Power of Evil delayed as long as he could, but back to live. 100 Thieves on the Baron here. They got soul. They want to close out this game. Huhi looking to zone. It's got to be down to a steal. Can Spica do it again?
Spica's ready to go, to jump over the wall, to go after the Baron. The Baron will reset. 100 Thieves does not want to risk the 50-50. They are too mindful of what happened back in game number 2. So TSM responds in time, and the Baron will not be taken.
They did get Power of Evil's TP, though, and that looked really late to me. It looked like he TP'd after they had pulled off. I'm not sure if it was a same time kind of thing, or if they just didn't have full information there, but they wanted at the very least to get that. They do get it. So Someday now down to that bottom side. He has a TP. Huni still could match him, but Power of Evil will not have his teleport, and as a result, is going to have to play close to this Baron. TSM are trying to reestablish vision control in their jungle, trying to push forward, clear out these wards, because they need to be able to get access to the Baron pit to keep eyes on this, to make sure that 100 Thieves isn't just starting it up. And as that pink ward gets cleared out, it's going to be lights out again here for TSM.
Lost trying to fire off as many rockets as he can. Those 3-item power spikes are online for both of the TSM carries. So this is around the point of the game where we should see TSM put the pedal to the metal here a little bit and start trying to make something happen. But it's 100 Thieves who still have control over the map. It's 100 Thieves who are the ones constantly trying to push forward, clear out vision, make TSM come and check that fog of war. Someday takes down the tier 2 turret here in the bottom lane, nearly equalizing the turret count between the teams. And it's only 75 seconds, Azael, until the Elder Drake is live on the map.
Yeah, 100 Thieves just have so much map control now. The fact that they have this soul in pocket, the fact that they are up in gold here, things are really looking good for their sword push. Things are really looking good for the engage, the ability to close the gap, chase people down, find those fights is going to be very, very high for them. And look at that Q. That's one Q without a W on Power of Evil. That's a good 30-40% of Power of Evil's health. So the Ezreal is really a threat at this point, has the Seraldia's Grudge, has additional CDR on top of this, actually still has not completed a Mythic item, so I assume fourth item will see a Duskblade, because at this point, it's pretty high value. You know, the item itself is good, and then you're also getting the Mythic item bonus 3 times over.
There's a lot of value to be found there. We'll keep an eye on his inventory, but right now, 20 seconds until the Elder spawns. TSM, they know that they can't just give that one away, even if 100 Thieves has control over the map. Someday he'll head back up towards the top side. Ryoma TPs here into the mid lane. Someday can respond with a teleport of his own. Neither mid laner having TP here. And now, as you'll see, Spica and Power of Evil potentially set up to make a move. Spica is waiting here in this brush. Ryoma throws out the ball, but doesn't really find a whole lot here. Power of Evil, though, well, losing about half HP. Yeah,
I mean, he found out a big chunk, right? And Power of Evil has no TP, so he can't base. He's down half his health. Spica will be able to heal him up over time, but Huni is by his lonesome in mid lane. 100 Thieves are just pushing there, and look at that Ezreal ulti. That was kind of losing on both sides.
Such a good ulti there from FBI, hitting both valuable members there in Power of Evil and Spica. The Elder Dragon has been aggroed. Lost will be the one holding that aggro here for now as who he goes in. Immediate counterattack coming out. Sword Art's here tanking up in the front line. Closer wants to run in, but he can't do a whole lot yet all alone. Huni's here, has the Gnar bar ready to go. 100 Thieves must be careful about fighting in a choke point against a Gnar that's ready to go with the ulti. Chompers have been thrown down onto the ground. Sword Art re-engaging, looking for the damage. Going to be taken out, but it's a trade 1-for-1. Over the wall goes Power of Evil. Everybody on 100 Thieves having a problem with those soldiers. It's a shutdown on the enemy Ezreal, and TSM have lost 3 and killed 2. Yes, the numbers aren't looking great for them right now, but they have plenty of combat power left. Power of Evil going forward, 3 for 3 in the fight now. It's Huni and Ryoma versus Power of Evil versus Ryoma and Closer. As everyone has questionable HP now. Power of Evil still having about 3/4 left, but you gotta respect what Closer can do with that gap close, man. Huni's down to 20%. He's just trying to stay around, hang around, make sure that these last 2 remaining of the 100 Thieves cannot take the Elder Drake.
And they won't be able to. And the respawn timers are going to be faster here for TSM, so we'll see if they just try to sprint right back towards it. Huni on a reset here. Spica about to respawn. Lost about to respawn. That is one fast turtle. Whoever knew the Ninja Turtles could run that fast, but going to be back out to the Elder.
Man. That's what the ninja part of Turtle is for.
Running fast?
Yeah. Because otherwise, you can't, how are you going to get anywhere? Otherwise, you just lose to rabbits and stuff. But now we got Closer. He's out here before everybody else because no one else can run quite as quickly as an Udyr can. Makes sense. And it's time to begin the Elder Dragon dance one more time. Closer will clear out a little bit of vision here. Sword Art coming around from behind. Soldiers zoning people away. Chompers have been thrown down. It's a full commit from TSM, or at least it looks like it. Sword Art looking to zone everybody away. The Elder Drake down to about 2,000 HP. Partial reset coming out as Sword Art falls over. Power of Evil dead now too. It's going to be a slaughter as Closer steals away the Elder Dragon. 100 Thieves decimates TSM, and that fight couldn't have gone much better for them. Huni wants to get all the way away. All Closer has to do is hang around, stop the back, give this guy a hard time, and with the Elder Dragon, he might just kill him too. Huni's running away, but the laser denies it, and 100 Thieves are on the victory march.
They've done it, man. They win the fight. They kill off Spica. He can't 50-50 it. They're not able to get the dragon. Closer secures it. 100 Thieves run him over. And this game is not ending in a sweep.
Here we go, man. We got a series on our hands. Sword Art respawns, and he's about to die again. The second ace for Ryoma, and 100 Thieves find their first win in the series.
2 close ones, but game number 3, finally 100 Thieves do strike true here, drafting a more traditional comp, more agency for FBI on the Ezreal than he had on the Ashe. Control mage mid lane for Ryoma. And it was so much about the poke prior to these fights. Power of Evil getting chunked out by the Orianna Ball, getting chunked out by the Ezreal ultimate, softening TSM up to the point where they were not really able to find the engage on the 5v5. And even at that final Elder, it looked like TSM wanted to just try to rush it down to not actually commit to the fight. And as a result, they couldn't get either, right? Sword Art is in there trying to actually stop Udyr. He dies for free. Udyr gets in anyway. Now you're stuck in this desperate situation where you are hard committed to going for the Elder Smite, but you don't get that either. And 100 Thieves play it perfectly on both sides. They chunk you out. They kill off the support. They get Udyr into the pit. They win it all.
100 Thieves making some changes in the draft, making some changes to the game plan, and showing that they can get the wins here. The series stays alive. We're stepping away, but when we return, the State Farm Analyst Desk will break down the win. See you there.
Many of us are working from home and adjusting to new coworkers. Coworkers who borrow supplies and always interrupt meetings. A gift can help. And when you use your MasterCard, you have security benefits that keep you protected, so your purchase ends up in the right hands or mouth. And your staff can start something priceless.
Welcome back to the midseason showdown in the State Farm Analyst Desk, where it ain't over yet. 100 Thieves find the victory and extend the series to at least a Game 4, with picking up the win here in Game number 3. We did get the Jace again, so we were right about that much, my friends. They brought it back, and they went for that control mage in the mid lane that you had asked for. And so with those couple changes, Raz, let's be honest, both these teams came in, they took the gloves off, they started throwing haymakers at each other for those first few minutes. It was a wild ride in the early game.
Yeah, and I like the fact that both junglers were taking more action. In this case, Udyr ran rough shot, took top scuttle, Crab was going for bot scuttle. Someday had to recognize that Spica really only had one option, and that was his head. So, Someday had to go back earlier. Gets caught. I think he played it quite poorly, but I think it was a good opportunity for Spica to fight for this one. I loved this from Huhi, because they'd just come off of a bot lane fight that forced Alistar to base. He didn't base. Huhi just said, okay, let's make a play on Power of Evil. He starts it by flashing forward first. So it's fun to see when both teams are just comfortable in a best of 5. Of course, 100 Thieves are under an immense amount of pressure. They don't want to lose a series off of not doing anything through inaction. So they go forward. Ryoma continues to move with Closer. He did it in Game 1. This time around, I wanted to see him on on an Orianna or just like a mage pick. He does it, and he's working with Closer much more closely. Love to see it.
Yeah, investment into Someday still on that Jace continues to play into the idea that Someday can be a huge carry for this team. As we roll through the rest of these replays, though, I think what was interesting to me is that after this flurry of plays, it felt like both teams kind of realized they were going a bit too hard. And we had this 16-minute lull in the action with not a single kill traded on the map.
I want to give a quick shout out to Ryoma. I think he's been playing his lane phase really well these past 3 games, actually. He's had a CS lead, he's had pressure lead, he's roaming around the map. In this game, you saw that he got a kill top. He's actually been playing really, really well, whereas on the other side, PoE hasn't been doing too much. Yes, they're both getting the late game, but PoE isn't just like destroying them late game like he has before in the past. So I want to give a quick shout out to Ryoma, since I did put him at 0 in terms of which one I favored out of the other mid laners. Yeah. So shout out to him. And then also, that replay we just saw, I don't know what I just witnessed, but is this like a round solo queue or something? Why is this Gnar chasing into this guy 1v3 when he already has the wave pushing him? Oh my god, I don't know what I'm watching, dude.
Yeah, that's a question we'll have to save for Huni a little bit later. I have a feeling, that might be that 5% we were talking about when it comes to Ryoma. You were so up in arms about the 5% that Primal was willing to give him. He might be showing us some of that stuff. But Primal, as we talk about that 16-minute lull, it's not as if nothing was happening around the map. And in fact, there was an interesting play with a whole lot of commitment from 100 Thieves to the bot side and TSM reacting.
Yeah, and I think TSM had the exact right idea here, right? You see 3 people come and bot, Huni, just commit, look to the ultimate to waste their time, and then go take the Baron. I think it was a little bit of a mistake here for Spica to also commit, because I think at best you're looking at a 1 for 2 here. He might as well he can either just harass him or just go to Baron himself, but I like that the rest of the team said, okay, the moment we see that TP from Ori, we know this is a relatively free Baron. And even though it gets a little bit close here because they're a little slower than expected, Sword Art's able to just punt anyone out who get close, and they're able to take this relatively safely, only sacrificing 1 person at worst. So I really like this call from TSM. It's a good use of the fact that Gnar was able to get side lane advantage earlier in the game, and then it was just them biding their time until 100 Thieves overcommitted resources.
And now it's a trade of 3 kills for the Baron buff, and it remaining on 2 people. So at this point, still anyone's game, but things start to get a little scary for 100 Thieves when Lost gets caught 26 minutes into the game.
This is one of the scenarios where you're not really thinking as AD carry, honestly. You're kind of just following your support and where he's going. Sword Art is perfectly fine to take this pathway, but Lost is not fine to take this pathway. Since he went here, he gets engaged on and gets killed. He had to take the safe way, and it's just one of those situations where you have to use your head as an AD carry and actually think about what ways you can path and can't path. He just takes the poor way to path here, gets himself killed. This sets TSM up to taking a 45 at Dragon. Now, I'm not going to fault Lost here for making his team take a 45 at Dragon. I don't know why they decided to do that, but it didn't look that good to take this fight. Maybe had they not started the dragon and just looked for like some poke and let Huni get big again, maybe. But yeah, you can't path and just auto follow your support all the time as a meta carry. Sometimes you have to think about how to get to the place you want to be.
I agree, Hi. And I think at this point, once you're 4v5, just go into damage control mode. Don't start the dragon. It's okay to harass them off of the dragon and see if maybe you can get like a cheeky Baron dragon steal, or maybe you can poke someone low enough to then take a fight. But there's just no need to start it. It's okay for them to be in the vicinity, though.
I just want to, because I mean, for this series so far, we've already seen both teams when they have like control of an objective, that they're just cutting through, like just basically cheating through and hoping that the enemy team doesn't call their bluff on it. In this case, it was Lost cutting through vision that he's going to get caught on. Last game when 100 Thieves lost Baron, if I remember, if I don't remember if it was last game or 2 games ago, where it was like they just lost the fight because they tried to cut through enemy jungle. So I just want it to be. I know it's getting scrappy. This type of series is turning into, but those kind of moves can break you a game. So I think this one of those things just to be hyper aware of, not costing a game when you already have so much vision in your favor.
Yeah, they have not been clean games by any means. They've been exciting, though. There's that much. That fight there, though, the pick onto Lost and the subsequent Dragon fight, I think, in a lot of ways, breathed new life into the 100 Thieves squad. But Raz will have to roll forward into the game to start to see where it all came together. It was closer around the Dragon once again. Doesn't want to let it be a 50-50 this time around, forcing out the smite by Spica to deliver the win and the Grubhub dub for his team.
Yeah, this is when you start looking in the perspective of the jungler. In this case, Spica, you've already gotten the Elder Dragon a 3K, and he's just trying to make it, so he turns it into a 50-50 with how this game has gone so far. But Huhi goes on Spica, makes the call. Closer dives straight in, so now it forces the Nidalee to have to smite for help, and then it's an easy smite win on Closer. Really well coordinated, but Closer has had such a fantastic game that it's good to give him the full recognition for that performance.
I enjoyed...
He ain't letting you go too, Huni.
I enjoyed more than ever as well. Oh, go ahead, Hi. Go ahead.
I wanted to quickly say that if you're watching this right, which you probably are, I want to put in a formal request for a patience bar onto Baron and Dragon. I actually have no idea why all the Dragon reset there. It wasn't out of the pit. I know he reset because he kept changing targets, but I think it'd be really cool to give a patience bar to Baron and Dragon, because had Dragon not reset there, I think that fight could have gone a lot different in terms of who got the Elder Dragon. I think 100 Thieves would still win that fight, but I would have loved to see a patience bar there.
Request noted. Now, Grubhub is hosting their first ever Feeding Frenzy on Friday, right before the midseason Showdown finals. This league Pro-Am will have some of our beloved former pros, content creators, and special guests engage in a grudge match for the ages. Now, subscribe to Grubhub's YouTube channel at youtube.com/Grubhub, and make sure you don't miss a minute of the action. And of course, if you're looking for a little snack to do some feeding yourself, use the code SHOWDOWN to score 20% off your order. It's time to roll ahead. Oh, Primal?
Yeah, I think that's the definition of intentional feeding. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, there it is. It better be intentional. I hope you're not accidentally ordering yourself a whole bunch of food, but at least you're getting the discount. All right, time for game 4. It's TSM getting side choice again in the series, so they will go back to blue. Both teams favoring blue in this matchup. Raz, I'm coming to you on this one. What have they learned across the 3 games? 100 Thieves has had a willingness to pick the Jace even after dropping 2 games with it and continue to play through it. So how do you respond?
Yeah, there's a good reason why I wanted to, and Primal as well, wanted to see the run back, because there was faith in the Jace being picked into the Gnar pick. And so far, now that we've seen like a better composition being rounded out, that they can team fight, I'm talking about 100 Thieves, now I'd like to see Gnar being thrown down into the priority list, 4-5s. You don't need to draft it early. I think now that the draft is looking much more cleaner, and also 100 Thieves is scaling throughout the series. I think they're playing better. Quick fix, you have the Udyr, the Hecarim, make that as your first pick instead.
Right. I hope TSM actually changes things up. I don't think they should do this ulti run back into Jace. In my opinion, 100 Thieves should have won game 2. They did win game 3. They probably could have won game 1 had they played better, but in all 3 scenarios, Jace has been doing well and continues to do well. I think TSM needs to change it up because they're not in winning positions in all these games. They're getting the game handed to them. So I want to see them do something new.
Time to switch it up. This is a test for Coach Bjergsen. 100 Thieves have put themselves on the board and stay alive in our 5-game series. We'll see if they can tie things up, though, with game 4 right after this.